Hey guys, this is Teryn, and I'm coming to you from the Girls Inc. studio in Las Vegas. And welcome to my new podcast, Tatter of Fact. So today I have a really super interesting guy from the body tattoo industry, and he's super interesting. I've certainly learned a lot from him over the last year. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, so we met during COVID.
Yep.
Right?
I think we spoke right at the beginning of COVID.
Right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
I remember. It was a super rainy day. And we met in the parking lot, and I cracked my window that much, and you cracked your window that much. We stayed in our cars.
It seemed real sketchy at the time. Looking back on it now, if I was a cop, I'd be like, what's
going on there? Yeah. Well, and I was a little, I didn't really know you, know, and I reached out about the Rook. I was interested in the Rook and, using it and getting comfortable with it and seeing if that was a machine I wanted to, stock on my store.
Right.
And it ended up being a machine actually that I like a lot and I use a lot. Just did an eyeliner with it yesterday, actually. So I like the Rook a whole lot. So let me ask you. So what makes the Rook super special, super good, besides the magnet, which I had never really seen before, to be honest with you. I mean, most machines, they're some type of plug-in cord, an RCA, right, or whatever. But yours, you don't plug in a cord. You just it's a magnet. So I right away, I really like that. I like stuff that's kind of cool and unique and different. But besides that, that's not what makes that might make the machine cool, but that's not what makes the machine really super good. So what makes the Rook so freaking good, man?
I do.
Well, of course, that's a given.
Realistically, I mean that's the answer. I do. It was that everything that I do, I think about the top, bottom, inside and out. I put everything I got into it, and I'm the guy that I want to know how everything works. Like there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
There's a reason things are the way they are, and what is it? Is it just because somebody told me that that's how it is? Or
right.
Is there a legitimate reason? When it came to the quill, it's a lot of happy accidents that just fell into place. And I found the perfect place to be for everybody. Mm-hmm. Where it just sort of works for a tattoo artist or an SMP artist or a PMU artist.
So it's super popular in body tattooing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
And it crossed over really nicely into PMU. Yeah. I felt, know, and I know there's a lot of people in PMU using it and that totally dig it.
So the artist that sort of got me onto building one of these was Pooch, and he does fantastic color realism tattoos. Mm-hmm. But I always say he's not a tattoo artist. He's a colored pencil artist who happens to tattoo.
Gotcha.
Because the things he can do with a colored pencil should not be humanly possible.
Right. I love that stuff.
I don't.
You're jealous. You're just jealous. We're jealous.
Well, he came to me and he wanted a tattoo machine that was like a colored pencil or a marker.
Right.
And then he just hounded me until I made it. Right. I get it for him immediately. If you throw a round shader in that machine, it turns into a colored pencil.
Okay.
So now he can do things in tattooing that he does in his colored pencil work that he wasn't able to do before.
Right.
The fact that it's so small means that, here's the thing, grips got big on machines because they acted as a counterbalance for the weight of the machine behind your hand.
Yeah.
Right? Well, as machine motors got smaller and more efficient, nobody paid attention to the grip anymore because that's what was selling. That's what people were used to. Just keep giving it to them.
Right.
But we live in a world where people take a big grip and stencil wrap around it so it's huge.
Oh yeah.
When you grab that at the beginning of the day, it feels good.
Yeah.
Because your hand is the largest group of muscles in your body.
Right.
So if you stretch any muscle, it feels good.
Right.
Stretch it for 8 hours and vibrate it. Does it still feel good?
Right. So some people, and this is a topic in the PMU industry. Some people feel that, they'll talk about on social media that the small pen types are not good for your hand because your hand's cramped and holding something really skinny. So by the end of a tattoo or a PMU procedure,
usually, I would say with that argument, I would say that if your hand's cramped at the end of a procedure, it's usually because you're maybe a little nervous and you're gripping a little extra tight.
A little extra hard, yeah,
right?
yeah,
A little tighter than you should be.
Yeah.
There was a 6-month period when I was tattooing that I couldn't pull a clean line to save my life.
Right.
And it ended up because I would let the cartridge like rest on my middle finger.
Yeah.
And I was gripping it to the point where it was bowing the needle.
Right.
Right over top of the ink. So I was just dry lining everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out, and then it hit me. So yeah, I would say if your hand's cramping up, it's probably because maybe you loosen your grip a little bit.
No, that's a good point because I train.
Yeah.
So, and I think with time, I think when you're first starting out or your first couple of years, you're hanging on to that machine for dear life because you think that gives it control. That's going to help you control the machine. And I see that with, some of our classes, some of the students that come here and I can see they're holding it really tight. Now I have an apprentice right now. Yeah. And I was just critiquing her a couple of days ago that she was holding I'm teaching her how to do whip shading. Mm-hmm. And she's just holding that machine like so tight. I can't even see the machine. Her whole hand's covering the machine. So I'm trying to tell her, you got to loosen up so the machine can flow.
It's like a rock.
Yeah. So that makes sense. If you're gripping really super tight, your hand's going to cramp up.
If you think about how often is your hand cramped up from drawing with a marker?
Right. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's built for your hand.
Right.
Right. So that was the first thing that really, like a lot of guys in the tattoo industry were getting a hold of me, and there was enough guys that I knew they weren't just drinking the Kool-Aid. Right. It wasn't just because, Steve said so and so. They didn't know each other, and they're like, man, I tattooed all day, and it feels like I didn't even tattoo.
Right.
Like my hand feels great.
Yeah.
I had one guy in Canada get a hold of me crying, which terrified me at first. Like, I got a grown man crying on the phone. What do I do? And he said that he had just told his wife and daughter they were probably going to have to close the shop and move because he had really bad carpal tunnel and had broken his wrist, and he couldn't work. Said he would work for 5 minutes, and then he'd shake his hand out for 5 minutes because it was numb to get the feeling back.
Yeah.
Said he got my machine, set it up, did the tattoo that was there that day. And I said, I got done, put the machine down, and he's like, I just realized that I tattooed for 5 hours and didn't stop once.
Yeah.
He's like, you saved
That's
my
awesome.
house, my business, and all.
Yeah.
So at that point, okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing that goes with us tattooers. I mean, I had to go to a hand specialist 7 or 8 years ago. About 8 years ago now, that's what got me off the coil because I was a coil user for about 12 years, and then I had to go to rotaries, and it sucked first. Yeah. For me to have to switch from a coil, for 12 and a half years, I felt that was part of my secret sauce for, the work that I was producing. So, but I had to take a 4-month break. They didn't want me back on coils. I had to go to a rotary, and it was really hard for me to switch to a rotary. Yeah. But now rotaries are where it's at. Hopefully the coil machine doesn't become completely obsolete because there's something about the coil machine I will always love and appreciate. Do you think the coil machine is gonna just go away, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah.
We live for the tattoo industry. We live in a very interesting time, and it's where the past and the future can stand in a room at the same time and talk with each other about the present.
Right. Right.
The Freddie Negrettis and the Mark Mahoneys can talk with these young kids that just started.
Right.
And it's this really interesting changing of the guard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I've seen it happening for a while now. But the coil, even those old guys, they're rocking rotaries.
Yeah. Well, I know. I see that, and that's what's happening in PMU right now. You've got exactly what you said with body tattooing. You've got, you've got the really veterans that are,
the ones that pioneered a lot.
The one that pioneered a lot. And some, what makes me sad about them is sometimes they're not given their due respect, at all. But, they're the reasons, really we're here. And then you've got my generation. I've been doing it 20 years. So I learned from the veterans.
Right.
But I'm not too old where I'm not able to embrace all this new cool stuff, right? I'm fascinated by it. The single needle and all these new techniques and stuff, and these young, 20-year-old PMU artists coming in. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of guys are like that. Though.
Yeah, yeah.
I was surprised that Jack Rudy was so excited to get a wave switch from me.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought Jack Rudy was going to be the last person that ever, like, here's this old timer, you know what I mean? He pioneered the tattoo industry. He was one of the first guys.
Right.
He probably uses a foot switch and like, that's all I use.
Yeah.
Right? No, he was the first one. Like, he was genuinely excited, like a little kid excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I never thought. Right?
Yeah.
So I got all kinds of pictures.
Yeah. Well, some of the old timers, I don't know if it's, they're a little bit bitter, or I don't know, or they don't like the changes, or I don't know what it is.
Creatures of habit.
Maybe creatures of habit. I know we've got some bitter people in our industry.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Here and there, but mostly I see the veterans. They're really cool too, and so.
Yeah, I mean, creatures of habits, like that wave switch. I built the wave switch to take the place of a foot pedal, and I still used a foot pedal for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, hid it from everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I can't use a foot pedal. Be a wave switch guy.
We're gonna talk about that in just a minute. But I want to stay on the Rook for one more second. So I love the Rook.
Yeah.
But I'm a shader. I don't do hair strokes. I do powder brow, eyeliner. So everything, all my movements are shading movements. So it's like the perfect machine for me. I love it. How much does it weigh, Chris? Like 4 ounces, something like that?
Yeah, it weighs 2.5 ounces.
2.5 ounces, and it's got a great little grip on it. I think the vibration level is pretty medium.
So all the things with that is it was a bunch of happy accidents, like I said.
Right.
I'm very, very proud to say in 2 years of having this machine on
And this is your machine. You developed it. It came from somewhere.
I can tell you where every bit of it came from.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you look at the magnetic end there on the machine, how it's sort of squared off.
Yeah.
That's the cap for a Prismacolor marker.
Oh, okay.
See how it's square, nothing else is really square? Because I had a Prismacolor marker on my desk and a caliper, and I couldn't figure out how to, like, how am I going to do that? I'm like, he wants a marker, I'll make him a marker. Right. There's pooch.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be like a marker, a pink one. Fine, you want a marker, I'll make you a marker. I picked up a Prismacolor marker, and there it was. The magnetic cable, at the time, I had a phone cable, right? I got off Amazon, and you just stick this little beam in your charging port, and the cable was magnetic. You just slap it on there. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool? Because I thought I was only going to have to make 1 or 2 of them.
Well, you know what I was nervous about when I first saw it? I might have mentioned this, I'm not sure. I was afraid this was going to come off on me when I was tattooing.
It does. Good. Right? There's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
So if anything pulls that cable hard enough that it comes off the machine during a procedure, you got to think if that was an RCA cable, it would have jerked your hand and then it went right back into the client.
No, I haven't had any issues at all. I think one person mentioned that it came off. She tried it once and the cable came off. But other than that, everybody out there using it, I have not heard that complaint at all. It's a pretty strong magnet.
It was a worry with a lot of people. And like I said, if anything hits that cable hard enough that it takes it off, right? Yeah. You would have to think that if that was an RCA machine or a clip-corded machine, it's going to jerk your hand. Right. And if you're doing a procedure on somebody's face, that is the last thing that you want to have happen. Right. So it's kind of like a little built-in safety feature.
Gotcha.